All right, what's going on, boxing fans? This is Randy. We are here live with Sean and with the Super Bantamweight Elijah Pierce. What's going on, man?
I'm doing well, man. Another day, another dollar.
I know that's right, man. Hey, thank you for being here with us, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Sure. And man, so we're
Elijah,
gonna.
before we get started, let me ask you real quick. WXXXLF. What does that mean?
The wolf. Basically, it's actually when I first started fighting at the age of 8, I was an amateur. I used to go by Sweet Pea.
Oh,
It's
Whitaker. Yeah.
kind of derived from Pernell Whitaker. I was especially me being a southpaw and everything. Um I've always had a natural boxer's ability. I've always used footwork. That was always an essential part of my game, even when since I've been young. But whenever I acquired my 2 losses, I'm currently 16-2 with 14 knockouts. Um, I went through a period where I actually thought about quitting boxing, and during that time where I was, rebranding and finding myself, I came up and concepted the Wolf, and the Triple X basically represents unpredictability.
Mm.
You never know what you're gonna get when you step into the ring with Elijah Pierce, because I can beat your ass a number of ways. Excuse my
Right.
language.
Right.
You
Now
know,
you fine.
I'm very aggressive, but I'm
Mhm.
very methodical as well. So I display finesse. Um, I like to play the mental game, and but I also like to be ferocious and come at you. So I just ultimately being a wolf. That's always been a close part of me. You know what I'm saying? That's my spirit animal. And I'm
Nice.
always on the hunt, and I get what I want. So it
Yes.
just kind of all goes into goes
All
into a
right.
complete package.
So it means wolf, but the triple X means unpredictable.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Man, Randy, I'm gonna let you ask your questions, man, to start off. But man, Elijah, I please hope you don't take this the wrong way. But every
Mm.
time when I'm looking at you, man, you put me so much in mind of Robert Easter Jr., man. Y'all just had them same features and that same look.
Oh,
You remember Robert Easter? They used to hang out with Agent Broner.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, Randy.
No, you're good, man. No, I'm glad you asked it because I wanted to know as well. So, but hey, man. So I know that you grew up in Oklahoma, right? Are you originally from there, or you just kind of lived there for
Yeah,
a time
I
period?
was born there
Okay.
in Midwest City, slash Spencer, Oklahoma. And
Okay.
I moved to Gwinnett County, Georgia, when I was about, I want to say, 6 or 7 years old, and I kind of been back and forth ever since. My father, I'm a child of divorce. My father remained in Oklahoma, and my mother relocated to Atlanta with my stepfather, who is also now one of my co-managers as
Okay.
well.
Well, that's kind of crazy, Randy, because in that, like, I don't like to see divorces like in no family, but in doing that, correct me if I'm wrong, Elijah, when you would come back to visit your father in the summer, that's when he's like, I'm a bond for my son, and we're gonna do a little bit of boxing, and then that little bit of boxing turned into actually becoming an amateur at the age of 8 for like 2 years, right?
Absolutely, exactly.
Yeah.
And just I'm grateful that I'm extremely grateful for my father, just based off the fact that he he took the initiative to bond with me
Mm-hmm.
and instill instill something that I could always take with me, regardless if
Yeah.
I had chosen to take the path that I have. Defending myself and being able to protect myself. That's a concern that I feel like every parent should have for the children. Making sure that they're able to protect themselves from danger. So and then we just ultimately bonded over it, and I was already naturally gifted with it. So by the time I got to high school, because I was only doing it in summertime, like you said, in
Mm-hmm.
summers,
Yep.
and then I just would naturally retain the information, and then over time, and when I got to high school, I was also a very good basketball player, and
Mm.
ultimately, he kind of gave me he just gave me his perspective. He said, I'm not a very big man. My father's about 5'7", 5'8", about 170 pounds, 75 pounds. He's not a very big guy. So he was like, ultimately, you're not going to be very tall. It's not like you can just have superior jumping ability or anything like that. But, with hard work, I'm sure you could probably secure maybe a scholarship, maybe to pay for your education, but ultimately, I feel like boxing would be more conducive to you, and and it could give you the opportunity that you would like. And me, I've always dreamed big. I've always looked at myself as a star. Right. So with basketball, it was a little more political in terms of you have teammates, you have to rely on people, and I've always been more so a lone wolf. I like to rely on myself. Ultimately, so boxing, kind of was the perfect fit.
So Elijah, me and you said that, right? You're about 5'8", right?
Yeah.
All right.
About 5'8", 5'9", something like that.
All right, I'll tell you that extra. It's 5'9", right?
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you
on a good day.
All right. So let me ask you this then. So that means you had to be a point guard, right?
Yeah.
All right. So tell the truth, man. Were you crossing them up? Were you breaking any ankles?
Absolutely. See,
Can
but
you
more
still
than
do it now?
I was more so really a spot up guard. I was very good at distributing and then coming around screens, catching and shooting. That was my bread and butter. I had that tray.
Hey, come on, Elijah. Hey, do you have any bunnies? Could you grab the rim? Could you dunk it?
Oh no, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't had a hops. I wasn't blessed with that.
All right, could you grab the rim at least? Could you jump and grab the rim and hang on to it?
No, I could grab the top of the net. That was about the closest I could get. Man, but I made up for it, with my footwork though. With defensively, I was a showstopper. You wasn't getting past me. Actually, that's how.
Elijah, I'm glad you said that, right? Because most people I know that box at an early age, but let's say, like you said, 7th, 8th, 9th grade. Let's say you play basketball, right? Those are usually the best guys that have defense and can steal the ball because your hands are so quick. You can tap that ball right out while they're dribbling.
Exactly, and I see. And one of my natural gifts that I have is anticipation.
Right.
I'm very, very deceptive, and I'm very good with the anticipation. And so I'm able to really kind of feel or know what you're going to do before you even do it. So, it will work in basketball and obviously in boxing as well.
So Elijah, if they invited you to a celebrity basketball game, would you go out there? Or would you like, nah, I ain't trying to basketball?
Oh yeah,
what would you do?
Most definitely. Okay. I still play from time to time. I go to LA Fitness and play with my homies sometimes. Just to get the extra cardio in, and I actually play defense. I like to play defense, because that's where the cardio comes in at.
All right, so if me and you playing and I dish it to you in the corner, are you going to drop the three?
Absolutely.
You knock down the trays?
That's buckets.
Okay. All right.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. So, when was the last time you played basketball, man?
Man, forever.
Yeah. It's been a couple weeks. I really just been focal on my fight coming up. Yeah. I actually got the biggest fight of my career, April 22nd. I'm fighting a former world title challenger. He fought for the WBO title in what I want to say 2020.
Tremaine Williams, right?
His name is Tremaine Williams. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I've been a very underrated and overlooked prospect ever since the 2016 Olympic trials, and which I had placed fourth, and ever since then, man, I've been doing my absolute best to make a name for myself, and my pro career, it didn't necessarily manifest into what I thought it would have, but ultimately I had to go through trial and error. I went through, I made my mistakes. Had my bumps and bruises, scars and whatnot, but ultimately, I've remained persistent, and I'm continuing to keep pushing forward, and I finally got my shot, and this is it, and I'm definitely finna take full advantage of it.
That's good. You said April the 22nd, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, so where will the fight be held?
It'll be in Connecticut.
Oh, you going to his backyard?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like to call. Even though I go by the Wolf, my secondary name is the home wrecker. Like I said, because I love to go in the dude's backyard and put them out.
Yeah.
You know, I've done it about 3 or 4 times. Actually, about what I want to say about 3 or 4 times now in a row. You know, it's nothing new to me.
Yeah. So Elijah, let me ask you this. So since you used the word home record, right? I was looking about your homecoming party. You had signed with Lou DiBella, right? For
Yes,
anybody that's in boxing,
2019.
their main goal is to sign with, a big time promoter, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you hit that, and unfortunately, that night, did you fought to a majority draw that night, right? Was it a draw?
Majority decision, yeah.
I mean, majority decision, right? Uh, in that, I think you said you decided to part ways. Tell me about the highs and the lows of signing with the big promoter. Do you think you were ready at the time? What was it like when you split ways? What all went through your mind at the time?
Well, no, actually, it wasn't that simple. Pretty much what happened was I was married. I was married for 5 years. I'm
Okay.
actually I'm a father of a 6-year-old
Okay.
girl. I'm a single father as of now. Like I said, I have my daughter full time.
Okay.
But I at during that time I was going through my divorce, or I want to say not my divorce as of then, but it was my I was going through my separation at that time. So, you know, it just ultimately, unfortunately, put me in a a bad state of mind. I was unfocused. You know, I was going through quite a bit, and included with that, I happened to get sick during training camp, and I ended up catching the flu. Then as soon as I recovered from the flu, I ended up getting pink eye. So I was pretty much out of camp for like 3 weeks, you know, and I had about 6 or 7 weeks to get prepared, and like I said, I was out of camp for about 3 weeks. So really naturally, and obviously though, you kind of take away that 1 week for cutting weight as well. So really realistically, I had about 2 weeks to prepare for the fight, and I could have beat the guy, man, like honestly easily, but I just, things happen the way they happen. No excuses. You can't play with your life in there, man. This ain't no game. Boxing is not a game. You have to be whole in that ring in order to come out whole. And unfortunately, I wasn't whole, and I had to reap the consequences of that. And that's something that's it's definitely left a chip on my shoulder, because really both of my losses that I had, even including my first loss, just to disclaim as well, I've always fought up. I've always fought at higher weights, because I was unknowledgeable about, I never knew about really weight cutting that deep, or as hard as people kind of do. People will drop weight significantly to fight, smaller opposition. I was never really told that until later, way later in my career. Actually, really into the last, I want to say, year and a half. Like that's when I finally went to the weight I was supposed to be at. But before, like, I was a natural 122 pounder super bantamweight, and I was fighting at lightweight and junior lightweight with 130 and 135. But and so I most of the time for my fights, I could I never had to. It was never a trouble for me making weight. I always made weight super easy, because I would only have to lose maybe about 3 or 4 pounds, 3, 4, 5 pounds. That's it. And then but I was still knocking these guys out. So it just only just goes to attest to the skill and power that I do have. And ultimately I had to pay the price on that. I learned a lesson with my first loss. I fought a very experienced guy who was a lot bigger than me. And ultimately we still fought it out. We fought 10 hard rounds. He even dropped me in the first round, but I recovered, and I showed the dog that I got in my heart, and I got back up and I fought his ass. I mean, I was hurting him as well, and I believe and I fought him in his hometown as well. And honestly, I really feel like they scored that fight, obviously more in favor of him, based because it was his hometown and everything. It was a lot of sketch stuff revolving around that fight. But ultimately, like I said, I learned quite a bit from every ordeal. So now, pretty much, I'm just looking to go into every fight fully focused, fully healthy, and I don't think there's anyone who's going to be able to beat me. be the fully focused Elijah Pierce. I honestly, in my heart, believe that there's nobody who can mess with me, especially at the weight class I'm at 122. I believe I can knock out everybody in the division.
That's what's up. So I have a question for you, man. So you saying this is pretty much the fight that's coming up? It's the biggest fight you've had so far in your professional career, right?
Yes.
What are you doing to prepare for that? What are you doing different than you've done for the other fights?
I mean, honestly, it's really just more so the mental aspect for me, because honestly, I feel like really boxing it's not so much just physical. Obviously, you have to be in shape. We know you have to train accordingly, of course, and do the things necessary. But to me, it's more mental more than anything. And I've just made sure to remove all distractions. Made sure to just put all my emphasis and focus on boxing. And honestly, and on my opponent, on myself, the past mistakes that I've made, and really just thinking about all the things that put me in this position as of now. Me wanting to prove myself, me finally solidifying that I am the true contender that I know I am. And really that motivation right there, it like I was telling you about that chip on my shoulder, like it just continues to grow because I am unproven and I'm ready for the world to finally see me in the light that I know I deserve to be in. Because I was the first fighter from my state, from Oklahoma, to even make the Olympic trials. I've so like my resume, the things that I've done, the people I've sparred. I spar with several world champions. I've been in the ring. I beat some of these top prospects in the amateurs. I mean, so my credentials speak for themselves, and it's just time to put some respect on my name. I deserve to be respected, and I deserve to be amongst those top tier fighters.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I looked up his amateur career. He actually went one win, one loss against Shushu that fights now on TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Shushu, that's my boy, man. Actually,
Yeah.
I was actually gonna go out to camp with him in Vegas for for his April 8th fight, but I ended up getting my own fight, and I had to I had to change plans or whatnot. But yeah, Shushu is actually a good friend of mine. Like I said, and we were 1-1. Me and him had some very good fights. He's very, very sharp. I'm very sharp. And, me and him, like I said, we're looking to continue to, maybe in the future we'll have that third fight.
Hey, look, Randy didn't beat Rolly Romero.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that, man. You fought him in 2015 as an amateur, right?
Yeah, I fought him. He was the person I beat to secure my Olympic trials position. Yeah. And but yeah, like I said, I beat him unanimous decision. Like I said, another good guy. Rolly's a really good dude. Real funny. Cool dude, man. So, like I said, I beat Antonio Russell, one of the Russell brothers. I fought Antonio Williams. I beat him. I mean, like I said, the list goes on and on. Like I said, there's I'm pretty sure you guys have seen on the box rep.
Yeah, Ruben Villa. He beat Ruben Villa too. Hey, Elijah, let me ask you this, man. Are you looking to be flying flashy in a few weeks? Do you have a different outfit for every time you come out to fight, or you got the same outfit?
Oh, I mean, I have a couple different ones. Right now, of course, I'll mix them up. I got about four or five of them, so I just, and they all, they all nice. We like to keep it clean. So, I just kind of substitute as of now until I'm ready to, go bigger for the next stage of my career.
Elijah, I was always been wanting to ask him, but I don't know if you ever wore one. But I wonder, how much do you think those what's it called, F4Studio.net? You be seeing people wearing those F4 Studios. They be looking nice and flashy, and they be.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
How much do you think those be running?
Actually, I was gonna get one before. They're about, I think it was like 1,200. I want to say.
Man.
I think it was something along. I mean, really, it just kind of depends on what you want. Because like some people, they get like those Swarovski stones, crystals and whatnot. It just depends on the essence that you want, really. But if you want something basic, most of them, most uniforms, they're base standard about like 500, something like that.
Darn, it's running that much for a full uniform set. Like, do you have like the robe and everything with the hoodie? Like the full,
Yeah,
what's your
yeah.
outfit? Okay.
But I mean, like I said, it just kind of depends though, on how you get down.
What
You know
brand?
what I'm saying?
What brand do you wear for your boxing sneakers? What brand?
Me, I prefer more so like the Asics or
Asics. Okay.
Mizuno or the Mizuno.
Oh yeah, the Mizunos. Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of
from
people
Those
like
are
them.
Japan.
nice.
Yeah, those are more
Uh-huh.
so like my favorites because I like a tight fit shoe. I like light. I don't really like high top or like shoes that
Okay.
are really heavy. Because I'm very fluid with my movement.
Yeah.
So of course I like to be comfortable.
From a kid growing all the way up to now, have you ever owned a pair of boxing shoes that cause like calluses or blisters on your heel or anything?
Absolutely. Honestly, I like as much as I love the way they look. Those hyper KOs,
Uh-huh.
the ones that were extremely popular at the Pacquiao's or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when those first came out, those are my favorite shoes. But they just hurt my feet. It wasn't good for my feet.
Oh man. Okay, okay.
Yeah. Hey, so let me ask you, man, what's after Tremaine? What do you plan on doing after this fight? This next fight? Where do you see yourself going? You want to stay in super bantamweight? Do you plan on moving up in weight at some point? Or do you want to continue to dominate your weight class?
Oh, I mean, like I said, it's just all about getting to the world title, man. I mean, me going down to 22. Like I said, I fought at 35. I fought at 30. I fought at 26. So I fought up about 3 or 4 weight class. I've even fought at 140. I think once or twice. But so me going down to 22. Ultimately, I know I can dominate. So my plan is obviously to get a world title. I know this fight will solidify me as a contender, and it'll put me in the top 10 as far as world rankings. So, well, I want to say top 10 or 15 in the world rankings. So, that's ultimate. The ultimate goal is to get a world title, man. Once I get a world title, from then on, I mean, I can pretty much create my path from then on. I just gotta, I need to capture that title. I need to gain that credibility as a champion first. So ultimately, that's my goal.
Now,
That's
Elijah,
good.
let me ask you this. When you get your first really nice big paycheck, right? What are some of the ideas that you want to diversify in? Do you have like any entrepreneurship of a business or something you want to start up or?
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I'm a jack of trades, man. I kind of got my hand in everything. I'm a self-taught engineer. Like I said, I
Oh,
engineer music.
okay,
So I'm a recording artist myself.
nice,
Like I
okay,
said, multi genre. Primarily, I would say rock. I'm like
okay,
metal and punk rock.
okay,
But of course, so I would like to, of course, dwell in that. I like to tumble as well, like
okay,
gymnastics, tumbling, flipping, things of that nature. So, me and one of my partners, we've had ideas of opening our own gym, for far as boxing and gymnastics, just kind of trying to correlate the two. Um,
Man, Elijah, I wish I would have known you when you came here to Houston when you fought here, because just right behind where me and Randy live at is where Simone Biles lives. She lives like right behind us.
oh wow.
And matter of fact, her gym is right behind my house, like a block away, and it's nice and huge too, man.
Yeah.
If
That's
I would have
good.
known that, man, I would like, man, Elijah, you need to go right in here, talk to her peoples, and set up something with Simone Biles, the gymnast.
Absolutely, yeah, that would be
Hey,
dope.
next time
Well,
if you
hey,
come back to Houston to
ain't
fight
nothing
again,
but time
you
and
hit us up.
opportunity.
Yeah, you come back to Houston again to fight, man. You let us know, man, and I'll get with you, man. I'll show you where the gym's at, man, and put you in the door, man. The rest is up to you to talk and do your thing.
No doubt, no doubt. For
Yeah,
sure. I appreciate it, man, for sure, and I definitely will do that.
okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One of the things I did want to ask, and Sean kind of touched on it was about finances. So as a fighter, I know most fighters don't start making money until they get title fights, right? So
Yeah.
like how, and I think I read somewhere in your bio where you said you took a break from boxing and you actually had to get a job
Yeah.
outside of boxing. So I mean, how is that? Are you able to sustain now? Do you feel like you're in a position where you can primarily focus on boxing, or do you feel like you still have to work while going through your career?
Well, man, ultimately, I give thanks to God first and foremost, and
Mhm.
then I give thanks to my support system. I have the greatest support system, honestly. Like I said, my just let alone my parents. Like I said, my mother, my father, and my stepfather. They're completely behind me. They believe in my dreams. They've helped me along this journey. But really, the way that I'm able to sustain as a full-time fighter is through my sponsors.
Oh,
Luckily,
that's
I've
good.
Good.
ultimately being just trying to be a good man, ultimately building relationships with people, and
Right.
people seeing the hard work that I put in over the years, has ultimately, instilled faith in others to want to see me succeed. So,
Right.
you know, that's really how I sustain and I'm able to provide and take care of my daughter through my sponsors. And obviously I gotta give a shout out to them. Shout out to Cortez Coleman at Happy Bud Brand CBD at Oklahoma, to Wayne Cooper at Akuma CBD out of at Atlanta, and also Milton Watkins, Louis Gibbs, Will Gilbert, my cousin Tony Williams, the artist, and many more, man. Like I said, and also Florence's Restaurant in OKC. Like I said, man, they help me provide. So, and ultimately,
That's great.
without them, I'm not able to do what I love to do.
Man, Elijah, your shorts are going to be full on the front and back with all your sponsors.
Oh no,
You got
but
enough to cover
actually,
your whole
actually,
year.
both
Yeah.
both trunks are.
Yeah, yeah,
Man, that's good, man. I'm glad to hear that. You know what, Randy, it's especially, and with some people, some of them actually get, depending on how big the promoter and stuff is, some of them can actually, if you work the right deal and you got a promoter that really got money, you can actually work out a stipend deal, monthly to help out on rent and car and stuff like that, until you get them big paychecks. But man, Elijah, man, he's like, forget that, man. I'm not relying on no promoters. I can get my own sponsors.
yeah. No, that's good,
Honestly,
man.
I mean, I gotta attribute that to just the knowledge I picked up over time, and another person I want to thank is Floyd Schofield. Floyd Schofield's and his father as well. They're good friends of mine. They put me on game to a lot of things that further helped me in my career. Floyd, Lil Floyd, he signed with Golden Boy I think earlier this year, and he's been going on. He's doing this thing, and yeah. So
So
I mean,
look,
I
do
just I
you?
just got a lot of great people behind me, man. Like I said, my boy Gabriel Graves,
Mhm.
my tattoo artist Peasy. I mean, it's just a lot
Okay.
of good people, man, that's behind me.
Yeah.
Do
All
you
right.
do you find do you find your own sponsors, or do you have someone managing that part of the business for you?
I'm self-made, man. Everything that I've done, I've gotten it up on my own. I've
Yeah.
done, what either me or my support system, like meaning
Right.
my father, my mother,
Hmm.
stepfather. Like we it's, but most obviously I'm in charge at this point. It's all through me. I'm leading the show. This is my life. This is my career. So ultimately, I have final say so on everything that I do at this point. So and now of course with my management as well. Shout out to my manager Trifin Petrov. He was really the difference maker in my career when he came in my career, because I signed with him in 2020, it was the end of 2021, excuse me, or the summer of 2021.
Hmm.
And he's really the one who helped me revive my career. Like I said, after I took that layoff and
Yeah.
everything, he found me through the internet, and
Yeah.
he's from Bulgaria, and he moved to the States, found success, and he found me, and then ultimately ever since then, man, we've been locked in, and that dude has been nothing short of a godsend.
Man, let me tell you something, Randy. It's pronounced Petrov, right?
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you something. Petrov, I know Petrov believes in Elijah Pierce. You know why, Randy?
Why
Because
is
I'm
that?
looking at these guys he's facing. He ain't putting them in there no slouches. I said, man, Petrov really he believes in Elijah because he put in there with some people that can bang, man, and he's knocking them out one by one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Speaking of that, man, I sent this to you, Sean, a video of Elijah sparring with Tank, and so I definitely wanted to ask you about that, man. What was it like in that session, man?
Ooh,
Because
because Tank's
you was
Oh,
and
throwing that,
Tank's
you was
way bigger than him too.
yeah.
you said what? You
What,
said that you said that I couldn't. What was the last thing you said?
Who me?
Yeah.
Oh, I said Tank's a lot bigger too.
Oh
Tank
yeah.
probably walks around at
You
150, 155.
yeah.
yeah, dude was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was about. I think he was about like 150. Yeah, about 160 that
Yep.
day. I was about 123. I was fighting at 123 in the amateurs. I was probably
Yeah.
about 130, 128, somewhere around there during that time.
Yeah.
I think I was about 17, maybe 17, 18, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it was great work. Honestly, it was the best work I ever had. I mean,
Nice.
that sparring session, honestly, it changed me.
Yeah.
So I don't really care for Tank personally. I don't
Yeah.
really like his demeanor. I don't really like
Right.
how he moves more so.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But aside from that, from personal aside, he's a great fighter, dude. I mean, he's gotten to where he's gotten for a reason, and his power
Mhm.
is formidable. And
Yeah.
it's respected. Um, he taught I learned so much, and really what I took the most from it was the dog. It was the energy that he
Yeah.
had, and that was something that I always remembered in the back of my head to keep, because this sport it's a savage sport. It's savage in
Mhm.
its nature. This is real life gladiators. If you really
Right.
go back in time, through the Roman
Mhm.
era, excuse me,
Yeah.
from back then, that's what it was. You put it all on the line in the ring, but it was kill or be killed, and it's pretty
Right.
much the kind of same thing in another sense, except it's just a little bit more controlled. So, when we sparred, he knocked out my sparring partner right before we got in. And then,
Golly.
and just the way his demeanor was, I mean, he was just real aggressive.
Yeah.
And, so of course, me seeing that, it made me step my game up. It was, hold on, you're not finna just come in my gym and just got and beat on everybody. Hold
Yeah.
on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it brought it out of me. It made me extra defensive. It made my senses more aware. And,
Yeah.
ultimately it was great work. And, much respect to him. Like I said, even though, we had some further run-ins after that or whatever. And like I said, I don't really have much respect for him on that
Yeah.
aspect. But at
Right.
the end of the day,
Yeah.
this is boxing. So he
After
doing what he do, and I do what I do.
after you sparred him, was Coach Calvin Ford there? And if hey, how you doing, sweetie?
Yeah, this is my daughter
Oh,
Isabella.
Hey,
cutie.
Isabella.
Let me finish, okay?
uh,
Hey,
uh,
get my charger. Get my charger.
if Coach Calvin Ford was there, did he have any advice or words for you after the sparring? If he was there,
Nah, honestly, he was pretty angry. Honestly,
he
he
was
he was
angry
kind of. I
with
think
what with
I
Tank
don't know if
or
I
that
don't
you
know
would
if
get.
he was mad. I think he was just more so mad because the gym, my gym, they at that time they were kind of they were rooting for me. And
Yeah,
whenever I would catch them, I was catching them with them shots. Or that as seen in the video, they were cheering for me and whatnot. And I think he was just kind of taking offense to that, I guess. And it
yeah,
just ultimately it kind of made him get a little more aggressive, as to where he would kind of do dirty
yeah,
stuff, hit me
yeah.
after the bell, push me down, just stuff
Hmm.
like that, you know.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, Elijah, we got a couple more days until we get Benavidez versus Plant. Who you got?
I gotta go. I mean, I like both, man. I like both, but ultimately I gotta go with Plant, just because, man. I just Plant. He's slick, man. I always admire Plant, and I admire his story as well. He's he came from a just continue to persevere through all the things that he has, and especially me identifying with the the fact that he's a father of girls as well. Just I don't know, it's just different things that kind of I've always admired about him as a fighter, and so I got to go with Plant off the respect of that. But Benavidez is a dog too, so it's gonna be a great fight.
Hey Elijah, I'm about to tell you, man, Mike Tyson calls him the Mexican monster for a reason.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like I said, I mean, Benavidez, that dude. I mean, he as big as he is, and for him to be as I want to say as fast and the way he lets off them combinations. I mean, it's like I said, it's gonna be a hard night for Plant as well. But I believe he can if he executes the game plan and he stays focused. I believe he can pull it up.
Yeah, and being that Randy brought up Tank Davis earlier, who you got between Tank Davis and Ryan? I keep telling people I think Ryan's going to beat him pretty easy, but everybody keeps telling me that knows Ryan or has been in the gym sparring Ryan. They're like, man, Ryan got more pop than what y'all think. I said, okay.
Yeah, I honestly, I had done an interview about a week ago, and I had gave my prediction as well, and like I said, I'm going with Ryan. Me personally, I'm always gonna go with the underdog. That's just me personally. Has nothing to do with no type of emotional attachment or that I dislike Tank or any of that. It just at the end of the day, I go with the underdog because I've always been in that space myself, and I understand the dynamics of being the underdog. And like I said, and I believe that Ryan Garcia was really the one who kind of made that fight happen, to be honest. I mean, as far as from my perception of it, he's the one that really put that fight in place. So, I'm going with him. And I definitely think I hope he can rise to the occasion and pull it out. And I really believe he can.
And Elijah, Adrian Broner said he has resurrected Don King from the dead. Man, what was your thoughts on seeing
I ain't gonna lie,
signing the Don King?
I was not expecting that at all.
Me neither.
I wasn't. I thought Don was dead, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't know.
But I mean, what you think about that, man? I mean, listen, Elijah, we know that if you rule TV and you got TV spots, you rule boxing. I don't think Don King has any TV spots. He's not on Showtime, not on ESPN, not on Fox. I don't know, man. I just don't know how that's going to work.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business. Money talks. So I mean, I'm sure that they have those they have that in place to where if they want to negotiate or figure out some type of situation that that'll be conducive for all of them. I'm sure they'll make it happen. So I mean,
I'm gonna make a prediction. Today is March 22nd. I predict that Don King is going to figure out a way to get Adrian Broner. If he keeps him at 147, if he keeps him at 147, he's either going to get him a fight with Keith Thurman, or he's going to work out a deal at 140 with Regis Prograis. Those are my predictions.
Maybe, but I don't think he would probably. I don't think he will. That would be his first fight back, though. I know for sure he's probably gonna have more so like a tune-up, maybe even two, possibly. But if he can get those fights, I mean that ultimately would be the fights that could resurrect his career and put him back in the back on the I want to say the top of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But speaking of Keith Thurman, he's supposed to fight Errol Spence, right?
No.
But then we're just close to get Terrence Crawford, I think. Yeah, I mean,
Terrence just posted today. We at the end of the road.
Yeah, but Errol is not the road
that we know about.
Yeah, but Errol is not.
No, it's kind of all that stuff is kind of. I don't know. It's kind of the game. Honestly, it's hard, man. Like it and it's only annoying as hell, to be honest. But it's you just gotta suck it up and kind of deal with it. I mean, because it's been such a pivotal change going into the Mayweather era. Floyd he's changed it so much, and he's just pretty much like almost monopolized the whole boxing industry. Pretty much, like, I mean, it's so. of course, it was just more respectable back then. It's like it was more so about the warrior spirit. As in, a man can go in there. You risk your life, you fight, you making money. And you get out. You provide for your family and do what you need to do. But now it's becoming so business oriented that I believe the fighters we are the ones who are reaping the negative aspects of on that end now. Like whereas a YouTuber and Jake Paul, not to say that I dislike him or anything, because I like Jake Paul or whatever, but at the same time, he's making he's making millions of dollars. He made $20 million. You know what I'm saying? Right. And he's that was his fifth, sixth fight.
Yep.
Of course, that's gonna fucking piss off any fighter, like myself, who's been put time, years, blood, sweat, and tears into this. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make a payday like that.
Right.
I'm still on the hunt to make my big payday. And like I said, I know it's coming, but ultimately I've had to make a lot of sacrifices, even with this fight I'm about to have. Right. It's not like things are even though I'm fighting a world title challenger, somebody who's already had a shot at the title. He might have lost, but at the end of the day, that's still a very, very big fight. And with me having those two losses already, it's almost pretty much like if I was to get another loss, that they can pretty much kind of write me completely off, and they've already tried. But I fought tooth and nail to bring myself back to life, and that's why that's really the edge that I believe that I have on anybody, because all the top guys in the division, of course, they're worried about protecting their record. Me, I already have those losses. I'm coming to kill. I'm coming to beat your ass. Because at the end of the day, I have to provide for my child. I have to provide. I have to, reach those heights that I've been prohibited from getting this whole, for the years now.
Right. Hey, Elijah, can you tell people a little bit? You have sponsorships now, right? And I'm pretty sure this works the same way no matter where you box at. But in your early career, when you first started off, can you elaborate a little bit to the basic person that doesn't understand how boxing works? How I'm sure when you first start off, wouldn't the promoter of that little local event, he give you tickets and say, hey, you need to sell so many tickets to get on the card? Can you tell people how all that works?
Yeah, you have to sell tickets. You get a base purse. Most fighters start off making between $300 and $1,000. And that's if you lucky enough to have a good promoter, you can make 1,000. But most local promoters, you'll probably get about $300 to $500. And you have to sell tickets as well, and you can you get a percentage of those tickets, and it could be from 10 to 20%. Just depends on the promoter. So I mean, it's not like I believe boxing, it's idolized and it's made to seem very glorious in terms of that, but no, it takes a lot of hard groundwork to be able to sustain a career in it. And I'm blessed that I've even been able to do it this far. I'm 7 years deep, and I'm just hoping to continue on. I'm fine, and I'm finally just at a point now. Well, I've reached those points earlier, but like I said, due to the personal matters in my life, which caused a lot of downfall of it. But like I said, up until this point, I'm finally at the opportunity where I can make that bigger money.
Elijah, I got one question, and Randy, I only got one more, and I'm done. Elijah, you're 26 now. 7 years of boxing, you done been through a lot. You done seen the ups and the downs. At 26, how old were you when you turned pro?
I was 20. I was 20.
20. All right. Right now at 26, what would you, if you can go back in time and sit down for about an hour and talk to your 20-year-old self right before you turn pro, what were some of the things you would teach a younger version of you?
Oh, definitely patience. Definitely patience for sure. Cause really, that was a big thing because like I said, out of the amateurs, I really hit my peak late. You know, I was never really that experienced. Like I said, I had started to reach more so like the pinnacle of my amateur career when I went after about 2 years. Because I like I said before, I was doing it on and off in the summers up until my sophomore year in high school. My sophomore year of high school, that's when my father, you know, we had that talk with me. He was like, "Hey son, you know, I think you should go ahead and do boxing full time." And after that year, I made a decision, and then I continued to do it full time after that year. So my junior and senior year were my two, you know, that's when I really started to do, you know, participate in all the national tournaments and everything. And it only took me a year before I started to place. Then after that, then I became into those 2 years, I became top 3. I was ranked 3 at 132 and I was ranked 4 at 123. Okay. So I was ranked in 2 weight classes. So you know, I know if I would have, oh, excuse me.
I said it's 125 now. I bet you wish you had them 2 extra pounds back then, didn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. But you know, I know that if I would have stayed amateur longer, I definitely for sure would have been the Olympian for 2020. I know for without a doubt. But yeah, so like patience. I said, but definitely patience. And ultimately, like I said, being you have to have a sense of security within yourself, because me, I've always been a person who's naturally trusting, and I'm loyal to a default. So like that's one of my biggest principles that I appreciate is loyalty. You know, it's love. It's loyalty over love for me.
So are you saying that hurt you when you were 20 years old? Your 20-year-old self? Okay.
Because, you know, sometimes, you know, everybody doesn't have pure intent. You know, some people have ill intentions, and ultimately, you know, that can cost you, because if you put your career or you know in the hands of another, you never know what can happen. And you know, I've had run-ins with that, and I mean it. You know, I would say those are probably the top 2. You know, really more than anything, it's almost like the people who I've trusted the most, or the people I've you know who I thought had my best interest, ultimately were the ones who hurt me the most. And that's normally kind of how it goes. So, you know, you have to be very, very particular, and you have to be very not, you know, intent on who you let in your circle.
But that's not so much a bad thing either, though, man, because it happened to you early in life. You know,
right? Exactly.
Better it happened.
I mean, I'm still here, man. I'm still here. I'm still going, and you know, ultimately, it's not gonna stop me. I will never be defeated. You can't defeat me. I have a true warrior spirit, and I feel like it comes from me being bred around older people. See, me, although I'm 26, I was never around my age group. Even when I was a kid, I have older brothers. I have 3 older brothers. You know, they're all about 7, 8, and 9 years older than me. You know, I have siblings on both sides. I have younger siblings as well. But like I said, I was primarily raised around my older siblings. So and all my cousins. I came from a very big family on my mother's side. So you know, I was always just like I said, raised around older people. So me, you know, carrying that wisdom and learning things early at an early age, you know, it taught me. But at the same time, you know, you grow up too fast. Ultimately, you gonna learn grown up lessons faster too. So,
right, true that. I got one more question for you, man.
For sure.
So April 22nd is your next fight against Tremaine Williams. After this, who is on your radar? Who else do you want to see in the ring?
The world.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's no particular fighter that you want to go after. Or
it don't matter.
Anybody.
Whoever they put in front of me, I'm taking them out. And I mean it. Like it's that simple. Like whoever they put in front of me, they gotta go. Until like I said, it's not about for me, it's not about anybody in particular, because at the end of the day, all I'm trying to do, man, is just provide a life for my family. My ultimate goal is to secure my family's future first and foremost.
Okay.
You know, and of course, doing that, I want to give thanks to the Lord too for make sure I show appreciation to Him for everything He's done for me in that light. But ultimately, that's my ultimate goal first and foremost, is secure my family's future. Once that's done, then I like I said, I'm multi-talented, man. I dibble and dabble in everything. I've always really wanted a career in entertainment. That's really where I want to thrive in. It's not just about boxing with me or just being the best boxer. I have a lot to offer the world, and honestly, I feel like I could touch lives in different ways, and I can help people in different ways, even through philanthropy and everything else. I mean, it's tons of ideas that I have, man. Like I said, I've mentored and worked with kids before. I love children. I would love to have more children in the future. It just all those good things. Said this just doesn't end with just boxing for me.
Elijah, I got something. I'm gonna drop this little small tidbit before we head out of here. That you said you like engineering, music, doing little stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I were you, I do this, unless you're already doing it, but I just gonna throw it out there. All those little local commercials that you see on TV in Oklahoma? Those little car salesmen talking about taxes, stuff like that. You'd be surprised, man. If I were you, I reach out to them about doing a deal to do their next little music or jingle on their commercial. You'd be surprised, little local people are looking for people like you to give them music and little jingles for their little, 1 minute of fame on their TV commercial that they produce locally.
I actually have a friend here in Atlanta who actually does that, and he's actually made quite a bit of money doing that. And so actually, that's always been, man. Like I said, it's a lot in store, man. I actually just formulated my own band as of recently, my own rock band. So I'm looking to. I mean, it's just so much I'm looking to do, but ultimately, first I just want to concentrate on this fight, concentrate on boxing, get what I need to get out of it. And then, there's time, man. Like I said, I'm only 26 years old. There's plenty of time for me to explore the different possibilities of my, potential.
Man, Elijah, man, when you get on TV, man, you need to bring your band out. Put them on stage, make it part of the contract. Let them rock out while you coming out to your band, man. That's what you need to do.
For sure. I mean, I already come out to my own music now.
But you need to have your people. You need to have your people live right there, rocking out with the drums, guitar, and everything, like right on the stage.
Heck, shit, for real.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, man, and I appreciate you coming and joining us tonight, man.
Yeah, man. I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight, Elijah, man. It was a pleasure, man. Interviewing you, man. So I appreciate you taking the time to let us get this interview.
Oh no, man. Like I said, I appreciate y'all, man. Like I said, and if y'all want to do it again, y'all know how to contact me. And like I said, I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks, brother. God bless and take care.
For sure. And also, I gotta leave you guys. Like I said, I always love to end my interviews with a quote, and it's my favorite quote. I always end interviews with it.
Okay.
Excuse me. No matter the conditions in the wilderness, a wolf will never eat grass.
Okay.
Word from the wolf himself. Elijah Pierce.
Oh, Elijah, hold on. I forgot. Shout out your Instagram and your social media and all that. So how can people find you?
Got you. You guys can follow me at Elijah_Pierce. You can see my name right there on the tag, Elijah_Pierce on Instagram. On Twitter, you can find me at WXXXLFIE Wolfie. And on Facebook at Elijah Pierce. And yeah, man, like I said, anybody, I appreciate all support. Anybody who shows love to me, I ultimately show it back double. That's just how I am. You show me malice, hate, shit, I'm gonna give you that double too. So
Yeah.
you know, it's a double-edged sword. Whatever you get, you're gonna get back. So
Yeah.
That's
There you go. I appreciate it, my brother, man. God bless, man. And man, we'll be looking forward to your next fight.
no doubt, man. Appreciate you.
Good luck. Good luck,
All
man.
right, peace.
All right, boss.